LEGO recently announced these new buildable Constraction figures of some awesome superhero characters, and I really thought I was gonna not be a fan of these, but honestly, I really like them. So the currently announced figures are Marvel's Wolverine, we also have Captain America, and at last, a DC character, it's everyone's favorite, Batman. So in my opinion, this wave of buildable Constraction figures is the best we've seen, and it's incredible to see the growth of this theme. Let me elaborate and also point out some of the other cool things about these sets. Let's begin. In the past, these buildable figures have had a few issues, but they've still been decent. The first figure to be made in this style was this Iron Man figure, and in my opinion, there was just something a bit off about the face on this guy, and it just didn't seem to work. The proportions also felt a bit off, and the posability wasn't always the best either. We saw some improvements with the more recent Spider-Man buildable figures. I felt the faces on these characters were much better, and overall each character really effectively conveyed who they were portraying. There were still a few posability issues and a few proportion issues with some of the limbs, but I liked them overall. Except for the Venom figure. I wasn't really a fan of him, but I detailed my dislike of that character in a separate video. I'm being harsh, it was okay, but still not the best. But now we have these figures. I feel like the proportions continue to improve with these, and I think these are the best they've ever looked. Sure, these photos are stylized product photos, they may look a lot worse in person, but from what's here in the photos, the arm proportions, which in my opinion have been the biggest issue with all of these Constraction style sets, they look a lot more natural and a lot more clean than they ever have, which is great. We also have some brilliant face designs. Now, this is the first time we've seen actual human faces appearing on any of these figures. Most of the previous ones have had some kind of mask or helmet. And sure, these guys have cowls or helmets as well, but we're actually seeing a part of the face for the first time. And I've said in the past that I was excited to see human faces on some of these buildable characters, but I was worried they'd look a little bit too strange. But, thankfully, they don't look cursed at all. To me, the prints kind of look like blown-up versions of a minifigure head, so it still feels natural and fitting for LEGO. And overall, I think it looks good. I mean, heck, when we compare them to some of the old Star Wars Ultra Build heads, they are a massive improvement, because those looked a little bit strange. And also, I think this head design is a massive step up from a very recent Constraction buildable figure from Marvel, the Ant-Man Giant Man set. A lot of people had complaints about the head design here looking just kind of off. So seeing these faces achieving a great level of accuracy, but still looking good and fitting for the LEGO style, that's quite impressive. That said, Batman and Wolverine's are my favorites. Captain America's is a bit off. I think it's the fact that his face looks a little bit too young, just the way they've designed the print on that. He kind of looks a little bit like a teenager, like younger than he should look. But I still like the amount of detail that's on there. The print itself is still nice, so I can still get behind it. Something else I love about these guys is how nice it is to see these figures branching off into new areas. The last few figures we've got have been fairly ordinary. We've had very minimal accessories, and all of them have had fairly similar body designs. The same foot design, the body designs sometimes mimicking each other. Often the actual structure of the face is the same thing. There's a few different reasons here. But I love that these figures are exploring things a bit more. Cap has a different foot design using this 1x3 slope. It's a slight difference, but it's still nice to see. And it matches the source material a little bit more too, which is always good. The body designs are reasonably different as well. Batman has a more noticeably different torso design with these abs here. And I think the whole design is very accurate to the Michael Keaton Batman suit, which this appears to be based off of. But I think the design still works well enough to be just any kind of default Batman. But I imagine with the Flash movie coming out, this is meant to be Michael Keaton Batman. Captain America's torso is very personalized to his look and once again matches the source material very nicely. But again, defaults well enough that it could just be any generic Captain America. What I like a lot about this torso is that it could have very easily been the same design that we've seen on Batman or any of the other previous characters, but they made sure to use different techniques and different ways of designing it so that it stands out a little bit more. It's also great to see Cap with his shield. Like I said before, accessories are nice. It may only be one accessory, and it's a thing that you kind of have to put with Captain America. It may not be on the crazy level that you see with certain action figures like Hot Toys where you get heaps of accessories. But hey, a shield is way more accessories than we saw on Iron Man or the Venom figure, so that is a step up. We can also see the leg design being changed up a little bit from the default so that Wolverine has the larger boot design which matches his look from the animated X-Men cartoon, which will be coming back again on Disney+, probably the reason this is coming out. And I also love the fact that the head design uses the same old technique, but we've got a bunch of stuff coming out of the sides here, again, to match the look of Wolverine's mask. So great to see the head design being played with a little bit more and things expanding in new and exciting areas. Sure, all of these things I'm pointing out aren't really huge. In fact, some of them are pretty minor. But this wave feels like LEGO is starting to really push the boundaries of what these sets can be. They're starting to feel a little bit less bland and all of a sudden really exciting. This is the most hyped I've been for any of these style of sets since they first started coming out. It's great to see LEGO putting in just that little bit of extra effort and energy into these Constraction style figures, and as a result, it's producing better and more accurate stuff. I do like that. Let's quickly talk about some of the interesting pieces in these sets now. Well, at least the pieces that we can see from these images. There might be more when we actually get these sets in person, which, by the way, these come out on the 1st of June, so that's not too far away. But let's begin with Batman. He comes with a new cape piece. I always love seeing cool new cloth elements on LEGO sets. And cloth is so helpful for your Constraction mocks. I mean, when we take a look at a creation by Joxon here, we can see how helpful cloth can be to create a really stylized and distinct looking character. So any new cloth additions are always a big win in my book. And by the way, while we're talking about Batman, how good does this figure look? I mean, I love the shape that they've achieved on the mask here. And also just the clean black color scheme is so striking. Really, really cool. Just as cool as those spiky arms as well. I love how this looks. Wolverine comes with a lot of awesome colors, especially these light nougat parts. Now this is a color that isn't as common to see on your typical LEGO pieces. Often you just see these on licensed IP minifigures. So getting a good whack of it here is lovely. Now these would especially be helpful on a mock like this. Here is an Attack on Titan mock built by Funny Stuffs. He's built these using tan pieces, but when we look at the source material, light nougat is probably a little bit more accurate. So getting more of this color is a big win, because it's just so hard to build in this color because there's just not a lot of pieces that exist in that color. We also get a few of these new finger pieces in blue, which is very cool. Just about as cool as the claw design on Wolverine. I love how they've achieved that here. Finally, Cap has these same finger pieces in that light nougat color, which is so helpful. If you're building any kind of Caucasian character, you're probably going to need fingers like this, and we finally have some after all these years. We've never really had a piece that's been able to pull this off effectively in this color, so that's a great inclusion in this set. It's also great to see some of these armor shell pieces in dark blue, and also it's nice to see this shield piece returning with the shield print of Captain America on it, but we previously saw this shield piece on Rocker from the Brain Attack wave of Hero Factory, and a few other sets as well. But from what it looks like in these images, it's the same mold, might be slightly changed, but I don't think so. So yeah, that's some of the nice parts in these sets, and there's been a lot of awesome things in these brand new Constraction sets. I'm very much looking forward to getting these ones. It's great to see them moving in an exciting new direction. Even if it's only some slight new changes, I think those are promising changes. What do you think of these sets? Are you as excited as I am, or maybe you're not too fussed for these? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Happy building, and bye for now.